Hi, second graders. Today for Reader's Workshop, we're going to talk a little bit more about our nonfiction books. So, yesterday I was looking back through our science and nonfiction books that we had been writing in Writer's Workshop, and I realized how similar they are to a lot of the published books that we read during Reader's Workshop when we're looking at our nonfiction books. So, a lot of times writers put headings, page changes, and pictures along with a few other things to help the reader break a longer book into easier to understand parts. So, today I want to teach you that readers can also break longer books into manageable sections. So, as they're reading, they can use clues to help them figure out how to break apart a text. They can look at the headings, they can look at new pages, they can look at paragraphs, they can look at pictures. So, it's really important to break apart a longer text because it can help us to understand the information in smaller packages instead of ton all at once. Because a lot of times, nonfiction books have a lot of information. So I want to show you how readers can do that today. So I'm going to bring up my book that I have on Razkids. Let me share my screen with you. Okay, so I have my book called All About Kites. And this book is a little bit longer, and I'm going to show you how I can break apart the parts of a book to help me understand the information a little bit better rather than try to read everything all at once. All About Kites. So I know in this book, I'm going to learn a lot about different things about kites. Introduction. A kite is one of the oldest, simplest toys. People all around the world enjoy flying kites. Kites come in every size, shape, and color you can imagine. Did you know that kites are designed to be both toys and tools? Some kites are made to be art as well. So I can break apart this page from the rest of the story by thinking to myself, okay, this is the introduction. It's telling me about what a kite is, what I can learn about what a kite looks like, and what they're for. This next page is about the history of kites. So I know that this section is different than what the introduction was. So I know that this page is going to give me a history or how kites came to be. Kites were named after a bird with wide wings that soars high in the sky on air currents. Well, no one knows who made the first kite, but Chinese writers wrote about them over 2,000 years ago. One famous Chinese legend tells a story about a man who used a kite to attack a fort. He couldn't find a way to get inside, so he tied himself to a huge kite and flew over the fort's wall. The soldiers were terrified to see a man flying, so they ran away. So if I think about this section of the story, this is giving me the history of a kite, how kites came to be, and no one really knows where they came from, but we know that they've been around for a really long time because it said over 2,000 years ago. There is a famous story about the American diplomat and inventor Ben Franklin. He used a kite to prove his idea that lightning was made of electric current. He tied a metal key to a kite string. Then he and his son flew the kite during a thunderstorm. Electricity from the storm clouds ran down the wet string to the metal key. When he reached towards the key, he got a surprise. The electricity jumped from the key and gave him a shock. Do not try this dangerous experiment yourself. When Ben Franklin tried it again, he was hurt badly. So, I can look back on these 3 pages that I've read so far and think about some things that are in this book that the author made to help me how to break up this book. So I know that they have headings, right? The introduction, history of kites. I noticed that there are pictures that don't look the same, right? This picture on this page does not look the same as on this page. So as I'm going through the rest of the book, I can think to myself, what are some things that the author is using to help me figure out ways to break up a longer text? So today, while you are reading, your job is to look for some clues that the author might have left you in your longer nonfiction books to help you pause and kind of take in that information in smaller bites rather than reading everything all at once. So today, your job is to set your timer for 25 minutes again, and that your job is to read the whole time. But I want you to make sure that you're looking out for clues that the author is leaving you. Then when the timer goes off, you're going to put your timer on for another 15 minutes and read to a partner. So your partner can be your mom or your dad, but you're still looking out for ways to break up your book into smaller parts to make it easier for you to understand. Okay, off you go.